Dude, I don't know why every goddamn chair at a hotel is like, I mean, I'm not that tall, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, 5'11.5", but who's counting? And, but I sit down at this fucking chair, and it's like Shaquille O'Neal and like a child's chair. Like, my knees are like at my ears. And I'm like, and then, you know, the side that's supposed to allow you to adjust it,
Yeah.
it only goes down further.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tether Radio Podcast, the only podcast keeping you from spiraling out into the infinite abyss. This is episode 28, and my name is Daniel, and I will be with Joseph, my co-host and brother.
Dude, that came out so sideways.
It really did.
And
but I'm not going to fucking redo it. So.
I will be. Well, no, you shouldn't. Just be you, dude.
Yeah.
That's why the people love you, man.
No, dude. It's just that, like, I just accidentally diarrheaed out my mouth, and it came out as that.
Yeah, I think those descriptions. That's why the people love you, man. You know.
Oh, wait, here's some more.
They just want to. Yeah, they want to hear more about diarrhea. Excuse me, out of your mouth. That's pretty pretty gnarly. How's your week going?
It wrapped up well. Got my work Christmas party tonight, so I'm stoked about that. Because we got the grandparents coming over to watch the kiddo, who has been absolutely a handful this week. But we took him to go see Santa yesterday, so. And he didn't cry. He just looked like a deer in headlights. So that was fun. But
yeah, he's pretty ice. He's an ice cool operator, though.
Oh, you know it.
This
apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, man. You know, when shit gets gnarly upon re-entry, his grip gets tighter.
I mean, I walk into the room, man, and people have to don their jackets because I'm bringing too much cool with me.
Oh god damn! I don't know what 80s movie that's from, you know? But I feel like maybe, you know, Breakfast Club or whatever.
You think I'm gonna get like a cease and desist from like John Hughes?
Probably. And I think that came right after, you know, Molly Ringwald being like, I mean, what are we gonna do? Be exactly what they want us to be? You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
we had the jock, we had the nerd. Yeah. We had the misfit or whatever. I can't remember.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? And then you look back and he just had a butt cut. And you're like, this is actually pretty easy to solve. This whole problem. You've got well, like now this guy would be, you know, you'd just be like, he's like really into shitty hardware projects. You know what I mean? Like he just hangs out at a maker space and eats Big League Chew and fucking smokes cloves or whatever. Just like,
fucking cloves.
Just cut your butt cut.
Yeah, dude.
That's all you gotta do.
How was your week, man? And actually, wait a second. I'm coming at the listeners from Knox Vegas. Where are you coming from?
I am in the fine city of New York, the big motherfucking apple up in this bitch. Apple. So had some shit to handle up here. We've got a project. I have own part of a project, and there was a thing need to come handle up here, and so it was cool. But the weather's kind of shitty, and that was it. Something really random though. Linking arms and just kind of, you know, singing "It's a Small World." I don't know if I told you this. I ran into somebody randomly at a restaurant in Williamsburg. This dude that I know from LA. Did I tell you this?
Yeah, but go ahead and recap because it's actually
yeah. Well, I'm not going to mention any names. I don't want to like fuck his spot up. But so I like a buddy and I were staying at this Airbnb. We were gonna head into the city to meet up with some people he knew. We're like walking to the station, the subway station, and so we stop into this place, have a drink, leaving, and I do like a triple take, right? Because I'm like, I'm pretty fucking sure this is this guy, right? And so I
did you do a Zach Morris timeout?
I did, yeah. And I was like, that's exactly. Time out, and then I said, "What do I do here? Like, I know he's out, but anyway." So I'm like, "Yo, man, what's up?" And I say his name. I'm like, X or whatever his name is.
We'll call him Jared.
And he goes, "Yeah, Jared." I said, "Jared." I said, "Man, you've lost a lot of weight." No, I said, and he was like, "It's all that child diddling."
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's all the child diddling.
He's like, "You'd be amazed when you stack 15 kids in a teepee." You know. Anyway, so I'm like, "Jared," and he's like, "Hey, man," and we start shooting the shit, and his date looks really confused, and then I'm like, "What are you doing here?" And he goes, "Oh, I live here." And I'm like, "You live in Williamsburg?" And he's like, "Yes, I live in Williamsburg. This is the place I live. This is where I call home." You know what I mean? He keeps coming back to this.
Yeah.
And so after like the second time he said it, I'm like, fuck, I totally missed this. This motherfucker's on a Tinder date. He's been dropping pins in New York before he ever traveled up here. And now he's trying to get his Williamsburg freak on, and I'm just fucking blowing up his spot. Like, are you sure, dude? Like, I just saw you in California.
Yeah.
And so we left, and my buddy's like, dude, the guy, my buddy that was with us, like, you know what's fucked? He's like, that is literally the worst case scenario for this guy in this situation. Like, there's nothing worse that could happen than you fucking idiot, screwing up his shit, you know? So anyway, I texted him, like, dude, I'm like, super sorry about that. And I did kind of recover because like I hadn't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
So it's not like I was like, I was just hanging out at your house on Tuesday.
Yeah. Do you own multiple properties? Like,
yeah. Wow, dude, multiple. Yeah. What do you rent this place? Interesting. Income diversification. Smart. But anyway, all right.
Diversify that portfolio, man. Good job.
Oh. Yeah, man. Flattened risk profile. Sweet. No, but I gushed about him and told this chick, I'm like, dude, I'm like, you're super lucky to be out with this guy. He's like, he definitely works out. Look at it.
Look at that ass.
Yeah.
That motherfucker can squat like with the best of them.
I said, stand up. And then I looked at my buddy and I said, get on his shoulders. And then he started. I was like, look at this form. Totally parallel to the floor. Look how he just drives through that, that squat at the end. Yeah.
I heard he's a master of his craft being the frog position.
Y'all motherfuckers know about the frog?
Y'all motherfuckers.
I mean, yeah, dude, it's like, when the night looks like it's going to end early, just flip the dick, bust into the frog, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just take it to the swamp. Take her to the swamp.
You know what y'all to do, dude? Take her down to the pond, if you know what I'm saying, you know? Why don't you go over to the lily pad, just hang out for a second, if you know what I mean?
We call this dipping for tadpoles.
Yeah, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, that went really fucking south really quickly. Awesome. Anyway, the frog is some absurd sexual position that is fucking 100% made up.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it was we were. Our older cousins basically were fucking trolling us, I think, back in the day. So
yeah, of course, because when you're 15, when you're like, 13, 14, 15, there are two things that are guaranteed, okay? You're going to jump and slap the top of every doorway. That's number one. And number two, you believe the frog is real.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's a, and you probably hacky sack, and you probably wear a hip necklace too.
No, what were a puka necklace?
You probably wear a puka necklace. That's exactly right. And you wish you had a Jeep so you could slap 311.
Oh my god.
Anyway, onward.
Yeah.
So
all right, so let's kick this shit off, man. So I pulled this first. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I just want to mention quickly. This first one's fucking awesome.
I thought it was incredible.
Yeah, because I read it and excuse me, and anyway.
Yeah,
fucking awesome. Go ahead.
So yeah, BBC ran an article and it was called "Robot Turns Out to Be Man in Suit." So apparently in Russia they were having this this robot would be featured on TV and they called it Robot Boris, which is pretty fucking amazing in itself. But anyway, journalists started to question the robot's authenticity. And then at some point, like pictures on social media showed up and you could clearly see that there was a human's neck in this robot suit.
Wait, but did they pitch it that it was a real robot?
Well, and that was the thing. So you get further down into the article and basically what they said is that it was a robot, but they never said that it was like a fake robot kind of thing. So it was one of these things that it was just never clarified, or that's how I read the article, that it was never clarified, but the way that they presented it, they wanted you to think that it was a fucking like real robot.
Okay.
But then they said Russian journalists raised questions about the robot. For instance, why did the robot feature no sensors? How did Russian scientists get the robot made so quickly with no papers published beforehand? Mm-hmm. Why there had been no internet coverage of such an advanced robot? And why did robot make so many unnecessary movements during its dance? Which I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Did you see the dance vid?
No, I didn't actually. Yeah, I don't know. They didn't have it in the article, and I didn't look for it. We might have to take a gander, and if we can find it, we'll post it in show notes.
Yeah, well, I have easily found the robot dance vid here, which I will post.
Okay, cool.
But oh yeah, dude.
Is it doing the robot? Because that would be pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and here's the other thing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fucking so silly. Oh my god. So the robot was at a robotics forum.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, dude.
I mean, they were totally trying to fucking pass it off as real. But they basically
there's gonna be a where are they now on this guy?
Yeah,
and he's just like and the lie just got too big.
Yeah, this is where are they now, featuring Robot Boris.
Yeah, dude, and then it's funny because the guy in there actually looks like an actor. He looks like that guy that's on he always plays like the young, like rich piece of shit. Mm-hmm. You know who I'm talking about? It's look at that. Look at the basically. Look at the picture. Of the guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? No, it's the guy that was on.
Name a movie. Or can you?
Yes, I can. It was God damn! I've got the face in my head here. It's the guy from. Hang on. All right, hang on.
Okay, this makes for good radio.
Yeah. No, he always plays like the young rich asshole, and I always confuse him with the guy that was on Titanic that was Rose's fiance, right?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
well, I know the fiance, but I don't know.
Yeah. And this guy is like he's like, I don't know. He just seems like a Indiana Jones villain or something. We'll look him up and get back to you.
Shia LaBeouf. No, I'm just kidding.
He's kind of like in that vein, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But you can like he's like the slick young rich guy who like is like doesn't appreciate what his woman is and then like falls off a building. You know what I mean? Like that's this fucking guy. That's who's in that suit.
Well, yeah. So this was featured at this it's Projectoria technology forum that was aimed at youngsters. And they said that they had never claimed that the robot was real. That the TV coverage on Russia 24 suggested it was, kind of thing. So I mean, they were completely trying to pass this shit off, but it's just funny because it's like this is like some Scooby Doo shit. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like Mr. Johnson was the swamp monster the whole time.
Yeah. Well, this guy's wait till you see the video.
Yeah,
You're gonna be really, really disappointed that anybody ever thought that was real. I mean, honestly, that should discredit maybe a lot of the kids that were at this thing, right? You're like, your knowledge of robotics is so cursory. You thought this was real. This was a test. Go back to your village, you fuckhead. You know?
Jeez.
You didn't notice the skin. You didn't. There's like them being berated afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Did you really think that in 2018 his limbs had this kind of movement?
Yeah.
I think we'll see that. But anyway, awesome. So I've got the dance vid posted. We'll make sure and get that out.
Cool. Well, so, we'll go ahead and cruise on.
So tell me about tell me about like putting too much soy sauce on your rice here. What's going on?
Yeah. So basically everybody's familiar with all these like fad diets and cleanses and shit like that. And like, for instance, whatever, people are like, oh, you drink like, which I don't know, it was like apple cider vinegar and cayenne every morning or whatever, just this stuff that it's like, it's just like fad stuff. It's like, okay, well, it's literally your body has ways of removing toxins out of it naturally, and you can basically just pump that up by like increasing fiber and water intake kind of thing. But like past that, dude, the rest of this shit's kind of fiber and water intake. So all you're doing is you're just increasing the velocity of quite literally of your like velocity.
Well, no. But you're just increasing. We
call it motility in the.
You're getting
that shit shoot going.
Right. turning it into a slip and slide. No, but you're just making. You just have to pee and go to the bathroom more. That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's basically you're just diluting yourself, kind of thing, so that it's if your body has excess water, then it's able to excrete more wastes.
Right.
And keep homeostasis. But anyway.
Okay, so what's her?
Yeah, so this lady, I pulled this article from Insider, and it was titled, "A Woman Went Brain Dead After Trying a Soy Sauce Cleanse That Recommended Drinking a Liter in a 2-Hour Period." Okay. So this woman literally drank a liter of soy sauce in under 2 hours, and 39-year-old. And basically what she did is she induced this thing called central pontine myelinolysis. So that is basically, now that I'm defining this from the National Institute of Health, but basically what happens is the sodium content in your body rises at such a rate that all the water is like pulled out of your cells. Okay. And so, including nerve cells, and nerve cells are, pretty fucking, delicate. And so it just starts causing nerve damage. And if you can't fix that imbalance, I guess, in regards to water or the sodium level in your body, then it's like, I mean, you basically are dehydrating yourself internally, kind of thing. It's like, it's some weird shit.
So, right. But like, once you're at the point that she, you know, once you've kind of crossed that threshold, like, you're not going to be able to like just sit there and chug water and fix that shit.
No.
Like, you
need to seek medical attention, kind of shit. Like,
right,
you need fucking IV fluids, and like, because they can make like curate, or not curated, but just basically specific different IV fluids that they can run in you to help balance out electrolytes.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so basically what this woman did, she chugged all this soy sauce and sent herself into cardiac arrest. So, yeah.
Is she dead?
No, she's not dead, but as of this article, they said that she let's see, she was unable to talk, swallow, or move at this point.
Damn.
So it's just, I mean, dude, it's you know, when you fuck with like the balance of your body, I mean, there's a reason for, you know, all the levels being where they are, and when you start throwing all that stuff off, I know that it makes me nervous. We were talking about this kind of about the keto diet kind of thing. That would make me nervous to do that, because I don't think that people are basically have laser focus on one thing, you know, and it's like, oh, well, I'm losing weight, so it must be good for me. But what they're not thinking about is the fact that, like, dude, your electrolytes could be completely fucking off. You could be like basically causing like organ damage by putting your body in this state that it's constantly trying to fight to get out of. Your body's just constantly under stress. So
what's interesting though is like, do you think the best thing to do is just to kind of like, you know, not to put this in this way, but to put this in this way, to just like listen to your body, like whatever it needs, like, you know, do that.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, dude, it's just, and which they talk about in this article, that it's, I mean, it's most of these fad diets, if you were to try to stay on it for an extended period of time, you're going to end up in like the fucking hospital. That's why a lot of them are like, oh, 30 days or fucking, you know, a 2-week cleanse or 3-week, whatever, 6-week. But like, if you were to try to stay on that, like for the rest of your life kind of thing, I think that you would be doing some fucking hardcore damage. So I mean, my thing is okay, you know, if you, I mean, which I always come back to these three things, that it's like, okay, if you don't feel good, look at how much you're sleeping, look at what you are eating, and look at how much exercise you're getting. I swear to God, among those three things, I guarantee you that one of them can be improved, if not all three of them can be improved, and you will feel better.
Fake news. No,
whatever, Alex Jones.
Yeah,
they're turning the frogs gay.
No, dude. Oh my God, this video I was just watching of Alex Jones explaining. He was yelling, "God damn it!" and then he was saying, "And I don't mean damn God." He was like, I mean it in the sense, I'm paraphrasing, but I mean it in the sense when Charlton Heston came back to Earth in Planet of the Apes and he saw that the apes had ruined everything and killed his family, and he was yelling, God damn it, God damn it. Like, you're just like,
what?
Yeah. And Gavin McInnes is sitting there watching him. He's like, you look upset.
That's awesome.
Alex Jones' veins are all popping out.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
dude,
so I just wanted to cover that because
fat. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, the main thing is, dude, look at those three things. Trying to cut out like eating out and all that jazz, and getting a decent bit of sleep. Like, it's kind of insane. Even if you're not eating that well, if you get a decent bit of sleep, drink like lots of water and stay. And that's another thing, man. Like drinking lots of water is so good for you because it allows your body to actually rid itself of the basically toxins that you're putting in it, you know. And you know, it can do it more readily, I guess. But anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting that to me that people are so obsessed with these with diets. Mm-hmm. So there's this book. I'm gonna make a point in a very roundabout way, but mm-hmm. this is this book that I read by Scott Adams, right? The guy that did Dilbert. Mm-hmm. And it's called I think it's called How to Fail at Everything But Win or something. Yeah. And I'm not a huge self-help book. How to Fail at Almost Everything. That's what it's called. It's called How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, right? Yeah. Kind of my life story. It's a Scott Adams book. Yeah. And so I'm not a huge self-help book guy, like, at all. Not for any other reason than, you know, philosophically, I think that, like, everybody's story is just very, very, very different. But the older that I've gotten, I'm kind of like, okay, like, I can understand, you know, reading these things and kind of just hearing what people went through and whatever. So Scott Adams gets into diets and you know, workout trends and shit in this book. And one of the things he talks about, which I thought was just such a fantastic point, is like, instead of saying, so if your goal is to lose weight, mm-hmm. right? Instead of saying, okay, my goal is to lose weight, therefore I'm going to like do this, you know, this thing that, you know, on the short term will immediately allow me to lose weight, mm-hmm. or, you know, force me to lose weight or whatever. Instead of doing that, to think about developing a process that includes losing weight as just a part of this longer time scaled process that you're into, right? Mm-hmm. So like being generally healthier, right? Mm-hmm. Like adjusting your diet so that you feel better, so that you're not just like eating shitty food and feeling like shit. Yeah. And then you will lose weight. Right. Mm-hmm. But that's just not the way that people think about it. And so it's just, it's incredibly interesting to me that I don't know, man, it's just people just, they want it now. They don't want to go through it. They want to like lose weight or whatever, but they eat like shit. They get no sleep. Like they don't do healthy, they don't live a healthy life or whatever. And so fucking what? You lose 15 pounds, right? Yeah. Like you're still soggy and shitty and you're just, you know, and then you're going to go back and like be shitty and gain it again. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's kind of the big thing is it's like changing, like having lifestyle. Well, they called it in pharmacy school, TLC, therapeutic lifestyle change, or therapeutic lifestyle changes. Jeez, struggling. And like that, no shit, is the beginning of every bit of therapy out there. Like, period. You want to treat depression? TLC first. You want to treat, you know, basically with the exception of like infections, you know, that is going to be your first treatment. Or like, you know, blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, like all of that stuff. Like implementing TLC is like, I mean, you can literally avoid most medications if you do that. Let me put it that way.
Do you?
And dude, and an example is our fucking dad.
What? Was
on blood pressure medicine, was on cholesterol medicine. He might have even been on 2 different blood pressure medicines. Then he dropped like 20 pounds or something like that and was exercising every day. And literally was able to come off all of it and have good numbers at the doctor. So, I mean, it's, you know, it's interesting. And I mean, like, even being a pharmacist, I'm not an advocate of medicine, period. Because I think
tell it to the judge.
I think as soon as you start implementing like medicines and shit into you, it's not only changing the whatever that one thing in your body.
Well, of course,
you
of
know,
course,
so
of course. That's what. So that I mean, it has taken millions of years of evolution, right? Of just general, like bio balance to be achieved. You know what I mean? And like correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't the basics of like, the balance of chemicals in your body, isn't that pretty similar across the animal kingdom? Like, for example, lions have insulin type shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, to a degree, yeah.
So,
well, it's along like among mammals, we'll say that. So.
Sure. But like my point is that it's like dehydration and sleep and whatever and all these things that are necessary in a across like a wide swath of biologic systems, yeah. And these are really complex organisms, right? And it's like, no, it's just like, no, you just drink a bottle of fucking soy sauce. Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah. What did you expect to have?
Yeah. Just drink the soy sauce. Like, come on. And apparently, like that article, she got this hot tip from a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man.
Yeah. No, exactly, dude. I mean, it's just like, hell, I feel like we're almost coming full circle back to like, the internet is the new newspaper, so that it's like back in the 50s, if you read it in the newspaper, it was fucking like, law or it was fact. And now people are slowly catching on that it's like, oh, just because, it's on the internet doesn't fucking make it true. So, but,
and most people are dumber than you think. So that's also true. All right,
dude, speaking of eating well.
Yeah. So this African guy, right?
Yeah.
Like from Africa.
Wait a second. My computer's doing it's not loading the article for some reason. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, what was that?
Dude, Finn has been a little punk for a hot minute.
That was a screaming wheeling banshee back there, man.
Exactly.
So tell me about this African guy.
All right. So pulled this from Independent, which is a UK publication. But anyway, cannibal cannibal in parentheses, walks into police station holding a human leg and says he is tired of eating human flesh. That's not like super accurate as to what actually happened, but anyway, so dude walks into goes to a police station in South Africa, and he basically tells the police that he was tired of eating human flesh. Okay. The police are like, that's kind of weird, and he looked like they said he looked unstable. Okay.
Interesting. Did he had a human leg in his hand?
So no, but that's the best part. He didn't.
Okay.
He had a bag.
Okay.
And so
what's in the bag?
What's in the bag, man? So the police are like, we don't really believe you, blah, blah, blah. Dude pulls out a human hand and leg from his bag. So at that point,
he was just walking around with this.
I guess, man. I mean, he was tired of eating it, man. He was like, y'all want any of these sloppy seconds?
Yeah, man.
But anyway, so dude's 33-year-old, okay, and they went over to his house, and they said, or the judge was quoted as saying, photos of the room depicted a disgusting mess. So people started like protesting the trial and all this stuff, and protesting it in the sense of like basically asking for blood kind of thing.
Okay.
But anyway, so they actually found that he and another guy, and I'm not even I guess I can attempt these names, but it was Nino Mbatha.
Okay.
Was the person that actually presented to the police the arm and leg.
Okay.
And then they found this other dude Lungisani Maguban or Magubane.
Okay.
Anyway, so both of those guys were actually charged with the murder of the woman. And so then they get down they get down into the like how the trial like whatever proceeded.
Mm-hmm.
Mbatha was acquitted on a charge of being in possession of the lady's body parts, which the judge said duplicated the murder charge. So I guess they acquitted him of that and kept the murder charge on. And then he was also acquitted for dealing in body parts by offering them for sale due to insufficient evidence. So supposedly he was also selling body parts. And then a third guy that they thought was involved basically was acquitted of all charges. But so I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, you know, is cannibalism, like, is that actually illegal? And so I looked it up.
Oh, wait. Okay, go ahead.
So, and this is, you know, I don't know the legitimacy of this, but it sounded pretty good to me. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
In the United States, there are no laws against cannibalism per se, but most, if not all, states have enacted laws that indirectly make it impossible to legally obtain and consume the body matter. Murder, for instance, is a likely criminal charge, regardless of any consent. Further, even if someone consents to being eaten and kills himself, the cannibal may still be liable for criminal or civil actions based on laws governing the abuse or desecration of a corpse, which vary from state to state. So cannibalism is not actually illegal, but basically doing anything with a human body after it's dead is illegal, with the exception of cremating it or whatever, you know, burying it. And then obviously attaining a dead body, you know, I guess you could theoretically, could you saw somebody's like leg off and keep him alive?
Absolutely. So there's a fucking gnarly,
Wait, is that what happened with the fucking Donner Party?
No. This is what happened with I thought you were going exactly in the direction I was thinking. Mm-hmm. This guy was in a motorcycle wreck and had to have his foot amputated, and he made tacos for him and his friends, and there's this fucking
Whoa, wait, time out. He had to have his foot amputated, and he got the foot?
He got the foot, and he froze it, and then they fucking thawed it out and made tacos out of it, and he had people over and they ate it.
Did the people know?
Yes, everybody was down. They just said, like, if you ever had the chance to taste human flesh, would you?
That's
I like, for some reason, that really fucking grosses me out. And I don't know if it's the foot or the human flesh or what, or both. But, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just like, I don't think
they made tacos.
No, look it up. Look it up
no,
right now.
That's just funny because it's like, I mean, in all actuality, if you're going to make something out of a meat that may not be like super great texture wise, tacos is probably going to be your fucking go-to.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so it says, this man made tacos from his amputated foot and then fed them to his friends. Everybody knew, right? But he invited 11 of his most amenable friends to share a once-in-a-lifetime culinary adventure with him. 10 said yes.
Well, but I guess my thing is once the foot is amputated, is it not considered like biological waste and like it has to be disposed of? Like,
I mean, I don't know.
Was this in the U.S.?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? That is bizarre. I had never heard about that.
Yeah, hi all. I'm a man who ate a portion of his own amputated leg. Ask me anything.
Oh, he did an AMA?
Oh yeah.
Oh, weird.
Edit.
Yeah.
Right? Edit. I taste like buffalo, but chewier, super beefy, and a little fat.
I taste like buffalo.
Yeah, dude. So I'm gonna throw this in here.
Oh my god, so that is absolutely bizarre, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely bizarre.
I don't know why it's, but man, it really kind of gross, So.
You don't know why? I know why, because they're fucking eating human.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah,
Yeah, that could be an aspect.
true. That's true. All right.
Yeah, let's get a little more scientific. How about that?
Let's do it. Let's go there. So this article is from Wired in this month. And excuse me. It's man, this week has been a motherfucker. It has been so long, dude. It's been cuckoo crazy, man. Crazy bananas. All right, so back on track.
They're cuckoo for my Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But the title of the article is "A New Quantum Paradox Flags Errors in Our View of Reality," right? So if that doesn't, if you gotta take this in small bites, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to. There was a thought experiment that was spun up by some folks that were researching quantum theories, and I'm going to go through this thought experiment, and then we'll kind of chat a little bit about it. But cool. But it's so generally with quantum, the thing that's interesting, and I did some research on this, read this article a couple of times, but the thing that's interesting is that, and the question that it seems to be central to thought around quantum, is that we can observe these really, really bizarre phenomenon. Like phenomenon is singular.
What? Phenomenon and then phenomena
is yeah. So these bizarre phenomena, right? On a very on a very small scale, right? But the question is that does that scale? And so these odd things that happen where you've got this a quirk that seems to be in two places at once, right? Is that how the world works, right? On kind of a scaled up at scale.
Yeah.
And so that's central, it seems, in much of the thought that's in that's kind of being kind of pushed through and pushed around and thought about in quantum. So
said another way, basically, if you were to simplify life to the smallest degree, you'd end up dealing with quantum mechanics kind of thing.
Maybe
like a boiled down.
Well, we don't know.
Version.
That's the question.
Or at least that's what the theory is, I guess.
Well, let me put it a different way. So if we can look at these teeny tiny, barely observable structures, the smallest structures that we can the smallest particles that we can observe, okay, and we can say that. For example, there is a quirk, right, which is like the teeniest part of an atom that we can observe, right? Can be basically in two places at once, right? You can like and also like quantum seems to suggest by observing the quirk, you're changing it, right? So that has some really obviously interesting implications when it comes to scaling that to human scale. And so and things like, for example, particles are not, this is kind of an extension, but this is something that I've heard, and I'm sure you've heard, and probably many of the listeners have heard, but like there are gaps between atoms, right? Like these things are not cemented together, which means that theoretically you could walk through a wall, right? Because there are gaps, and if somehow you could, gap particles.
If you could line up the gaps of
exactly.
your atoms versus the wall's atoms. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Could you walk through a wall? So, and the seems that some of these kind of thought experiments seem to suggest that might be possible. So, so this experiment was designed by a couple of researchers from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich, right? Mm-hmm. And so the thought experiment goes in the following way. Okay, so you've got four parties, right? Mm-hmm. You've got Alice and Bob, who are scientists that are observing things that two of their friends are doing in a lab. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you follow me so far? Because this gets kind of vertical quickly, but I'm going to go through it as in a detailed way. Yeah. Okay. So you've got Alice, who has her friend that's in a lab, and her friend is tossing a coin. Okay. Mm-hmm. And every time the coin lands heads up, she prepares a particle to spin down. Okay. Mm-hmm. Every time the coin lands tails up, she prepares the particle in a superposition of spin up and down. Yeah. Right. And so spin up and down is a possibility in quantum. Because it could be either. It's not binary, right? Yeah, yeah. So even though the outcome of the coin toss is binary, you're introducing an ambiguous interpretation of a binary event. Right? The potentiality for an ambiguous interpretation of a binary event. Okay. Are you following so far?
So far.
Okay. So here's how it works. Alice's friend is in the lab, right? Alice's friend tosses a coin and prepares a particle. If the coin is heads up, she prepares the particle to spin down. If the coin is tails up, she prepares the particle in a superposition of spin up or down. Yeah. Okay? Mm-hmm. Alice measures her friend and the lab and infers the result of the coin toss. Hard stop. You understand what Alice is doing, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Bob, remember, he's the scientist, and he's got a friend that's in the lab, and he's observing what his friend does in the lab. Okay, So Bob's friend, once she flips these coins, right? Heads up, particle is prepared to spin down. Tails up, particle is prepares the particle in a superposition of spin up and down. Correct. So Alice's friend then sends the particle to Bob's friend. Okay? So she's flipping a coin. She prepares the particle, then sends it to
Bob's friend. Right. In a separate lab.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. Okay.
Exactly. So Bob's friend is unaware of the coin toss. That doesn't matter.
He's just getting the particle in either the spin down or the superposition spin up or down.
Correct. Okay. So then Bob's friend measures the particle's spin. Okay. Now, remember, we've got Bob outside the lab. Okay. Bob measures his friend and the lab and infers the result of the coin toss. So Alice measures her friend and the lab and infers the result of the coin toss, and so does Bob, but with Bob's friend. Okay. Yeah. So the difference here is that Alice, in Alice's constrained situation, the coin toss is resulting, which is binary, is resulting in spin down or spin up and down. Yeah. Bob's situation, Bob's friend is just observing the particle, no coin toss. Yeah. So the result, as we can imagine, is sometimes Alice and Bob disagree about whether the coin toss came up on heads and tails. Yes. And the reason is because there's a superposition of spin up and down. Yes. So it may be, we may think that it's spinning up or spinning down or whatever, and we may say that spin down is heads, right?
Yeah.
Right? Or and so what is interesting is a binary event happens, and there's disagreement about that binary event because of the way we're observing the binary event.
Yeah.
Do you follow me?
So it's almost like there is a correct me if I'm wrong. This is how I interpret that. There is almost a most accurate perception kind of thing, or perspective, not perception.
No. This is what's crazy, right? The reality of a tails toss, the truth of a tails toss, is what you observe. That's what they're saying, right?
Yeah.
And because we know if it's spin down, it was heads.
Yeah.
But if what you're observing is spin down, you may say it's heads, even though it's not spinning down. It's actually just a superposition of spin up and down.
Yeah.
It's both.
Yeah.
It just is what do you observe, right?
Weird.
So because it is both. Like that's where this black magic fuckery. Thank you, Reddit. That's what the black magic fuckery is, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why quantum computing is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Because instead of zeros and ones, you have zeros, ones, and everything in between.
Yeah.
Literally infinite things of in between.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, fun sidebar. I actually have a friend who was a physics major at a fairly reputable institution in Connecticut, and this fucking dude doing his research in quantum computing. Holy shit! He's like, look, man, IBM's using quantum computing as like marketing, as a marketing piece. But he's like, it's fucking so far away, dude.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to send information, he was like, it just degrades so quickly.
Yeah.
As you try to use these quantum techniques to send and observe information. If you think about it, well, that's the same thing we're saying here, right? Like because like when I send you something on a computer, it's got to be standardized, right? Like your machine has got to know what it's receiving.
Yeah.
And so there are parameters as to what I can send, you know?
Yeah.
And if there are no restrictions, it would be impossible for your machine to understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I could mean anything.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, like, for instance, I'm assuming this is kind of part of the problem also, is that, all these atoms are constantly moving. So if you're sending data, you're having to choose a slice, it's not a live feed kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I would think that maybe that plays in a little bit.
True. But we're getting to the point now. This is what I was thinking about in this after reading this article. We're getting to the point now where there is so much information that you must be extremely specific.
Yeah.
And like in the past, that was not really the fucking case, you know? So it's like, I think a simple way to think about this is, when people were in, heading west and were living in fucking Oklahoma City, and there were like, 150 people in Oklahoma City, like I could address a letter to you and I could say Daniel Bradley, Oklahoma City. That's fucking it.
Yeah.
And somebody put that shit on the Pony Express. They rode that out there and they were like, Daniel Bradley, Oklahoma City. Well, we know who Daniel Bradley is in Oklahoma City. You know what I mean? And so now there are tons of fucking people who live in cities, and you must be very specific. You cannot say the block. You cannot say the building. You cannot say the fucking city. You need very specific information to make sure that the intended message arrives to the intended person, right?
Yeah.
And I just think that it's obviously it's an oversimplification, but that is the way that exchange in general works. And so as there is this kind of bizarrely massive amount of data that's being produced. I say bizarrely massive because it's like, I forget what the fucking number is, but it's like in the next 10 years we'll create 5 times the data or whatever than was created in all of human history, right? And the reason for that is IoT devices, just
plus we're constantly learning more about our world.
Yes.
So it's just kind of like, Well,
So
I am sure an exponential rate kind of thing.
And that's precisely it, right? Like I was writing this code the other day, and I was just thinking, like, dude, this project took 5 weeks or whatever, and there were like 4 of us working on this thing, and it was like, hundreds of thousands of characters, right? Because on GitHub you have the ability to see total contributions and whatever, and hundreds of thousands of characters, right? That are getting entered in this. It wasn't a super complex app, but nevertheless, and so it was interesting that is like this project, like it's not going to go live, right? We just had to present it to somebody to show that, the concepts that we were kind of pulling down, that we understood those, right? And so that's a lot of fucking information, right? Weeks and weeks and weeks of creating this data, and it's never going to be used. And so anyway, I just think that this is incredibly fascinating. Quantum is a ways off. But quantum computing, hard stop, talking about the article now, we're getting to the point where we have enough information about the physical world to understand that this general consensus as to what reality is, it might in fact be very fucking different.
Yeah.
And so while generally green is agreed upon, or generally, purple is agreed upon, or whatever, really what that means, like within the context of your world, I can never know.
Yeah.
Ever. I can never know how you pull in and process information, And so anyway, I just thought that this article was definitely worth chatting about, But,
for sure.
So anyway, we've got that up there, and now we are going to
wait real quick break. I just want to ask you, I don't know why this just popped up in my head, but Alexander Graham Bell won the first U.S. patent for the telephone in 1876. Okay. So how long do you think it took before the first crank phone call took place?
Wait, he said wait. He created it when?
No, he got the first U.S. patent in 1876. So this actually says, according to Elon University's website, Italian innovator Antonio Muccici or something like that, or Mucci, is credited with inventing the first basic phone in 1849. But Alexander Graham Bell won the first U.S. patent in 1876. So when do you think the first crank phone call?
Fucking a week later.
You think it was just like somebody got on there just like, is
your
refrigerator running?
Wait, do you know the answer to this?
No, I was just wondering. Yeah, I think
I will guarantee you it was a week. You know what I mean? Like they're like testing it, and he's like, and they're like, I can't hear you, mate, or whatever. And he's like, I'm just kidding. I can hear you fine.
It was Italy, so they're like, it's a spicy meatball.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, that's exactly right. The pizza's on your doorstep, and then he walks out, and he's like, but it's working fine. No, yeah.
Anyway,
it
sorry,
happened
completely derailed.
It happened immediately after.
Yeah,
that's how it went down.
Gotcha.
Definitely how it went down. I'm gonna drop this foot meat article in here. Wait, did I?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. I'm gonna drop the AMA so that people can check it out. Yeah. But anyway, so the quantum thing. Just to wrap there, I think that I mean. Dude,
it's crazy how us gaining more scientific information is starting to make scientists, among many others, just question. I mean, literally reality kind of thing.
Yeah.
And our perception of reality.
It's true, but this is not like people ain't ready, dude. I mean, we need to move on here, but just to I don't know, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and I really appreciated it. the lie of modern society, right? Like the kind of foolish layer of wool, right? The silly layer of wool that's being pulled over everybody's eyes is the fact that modern convenience just shrouds the fucking hard fact that all of the realities that fucked your ancestors up are still there, right? It's just we've created these abstractions that take us out of that, right?
And
so it's
distractions.
I'm saying abstractions and fucking the way that people, like when people are saying, no, don't make your own food, I'll do it for you. Like of course they're making money, right? When people are like, no, don't worry about protecting yourself, I'll handle that. Like there is a dollar sign attached to this. This is what economics tells us, right?
Yeah.
And so the reason I say this is because this idea of like, you need a job. You need like a job. You need to go to a place and you have to have this job and you have to like work at this job or whatever. Dude, that's a fucking modern fucking fallacy. From a risk perspective, the smartest thing you could possibly do would be to, out of 100% of your income, to make 30 in this way, 40 in that way, 20 in this way. Like that is, and then weighting the way that you make money in a way that is commensurate with where you are in life, right? So like when you our age, right, you should be making a little bit of money in a very predictable way, but then you should be making money that exposes you to upside as well, to crazy upside as well. You should be taking huge risk, right? And then dialing that risk back the older that you get. And so, but that's not the way we're still talking about quantum here, but that's not the way that's not the way that people think about this, right? Because you get sold this fucking bill of goods where you're like, okay, it's time to pair off, it's time to buy a nest, it's time to put shit in my nest, it's time to like, do all these fucking things that maybe you didn't even come up with, right?
Yeah.
And so,
well, dude, even taking a step back from that, it's like it's time to go to college and incur a fuck ton of debt.
Absolutely.
And then it's time to start paying that debt off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what's silly is like the debt's not real. No. And people people are like, oh, it's not fucking real. How about they come take your house? It's like, fuck you. It's no, but seriously, dude. Like if think about this, if you were committed to seeing how fucking far you could push it, right? Like if you were really, really committed to that, I think that there would be a point where you break through and you're just, and it's like you exit the Matrix, where you're just like, wait, really? What are they gonna fucking do to me?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. You have a kid, you have a wife, you have a house. Well, no. The stakes are high, but
it's like they can't physically harm you, kind of thing. And so it's one of those things. Take all my shit. I don't give a shit. It's like I can always get more stuff.
That's right. The world doesn't work. The world does not work as many people who make a lot of money off of you want you to think it works.
Yeah.
It just fucking doesn't. Like people that are super, super wealthy, you think they know something you don't? No, they don't. It's like, it's absurd. You think these people are, have a super high IQ or whatever? Of course not. Like that's just silly. That's not statistics tells us other things, right?
Yeah.
But there's a huge reason to perpetuate certain ways that people feel and believe. And so the reason that I'm bringing this back into quantum is because the reality that you think you're experiencing, you're fucking not. And and most people couldn't handle that, right? And that's fine. And that's absolutely fine. But I think that's the interesting thing, is like this mental masturbation around like the superimposition of the up and down spin could mean that blah, 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 blah. Like it's great to, hit a bong and talk about that shit. But like, I think that, whatever, tinfoil hat. But I think that reality distortion and using kind of bending this idea that reality is so up for interpretation is something that people are already very fucking well aware of, right? And we see people do it on a regular fucking basis where you're like, I mean, dude, case in point, Russia shot a goddamn passenger airplane out of the fucking air, right? Yeah. Shot it out of the air and killed everyone on board. Zero repercussions, right? Yeah. Like you have people in power that will just flat out say, well, kind of. And it's like, what do you mean?
Or they'll just justify it in some fucking...
Yeah, but that's my point, right? Like we can call it gaslighting or whatever, but like that's my point, right? Jamal Khashoggi was fucking lured into an embassy, right? And sliced up and disposed of. Yep. Fact. That happened. That definitely happened. But then people are like, well, but that's not the full story. And it's like, okay. You know? And so anyway, so my point is people are already, I think people are already doing this. We can call it gaslighting or manipulation or whatever, but like reality distortion. I mean, to know that there could be some kind of scientific evidence as to why, you know, a seemingly binary outcome can be explained in many different ways. That's fucking cool. That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
I think the main takeaway for the listeners is don't be a fucking plebe.
Yeah, bro. Observe your particle. You know?
Observe your particle.
Fucking take the time, get in the bathroom, observe the particle, you know? Go ahead, though. Michael Cohen. What do we got going on with this fucking guy?
Yeah, dude. So Michael Cohen, as I'm sure that you are familiar with, and if any listeners are not familiar with him, he was the former Trump lawyer, who was basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he was kind of seen as Trump's fixer during his campaign.
Okay.
Is that not kind of would that not be accurate?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good way to get it kicked off, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah, because Joseph and I had a little bit of time to talk about this. Actually, a very brief period of time, but anyway, and Joseph actually had a really good point, and I hadn't really thought about it, but it makes complete and utter sense. But anyway, so basically, Michael Cohen was under the microscope for money being exchanged for like basically hush money in some different instances, one of them being the Stormy Daniels payoff kind of thing, right?
Yes, sorry, I just had to cough and muted there. Go ahead.
Good.
Yes, that's correct.
But which first of all, since, you know, a lot of people bring up, it's illegal because he's president. Well, he wasn't president at the time. So, but the second thing was, they were saying that, basically, Cohen ended up getting 3 years in prison for, a smorgasbord of fraudulent crimes. One of which, or I guess most of them stemming from, campaign finance violations. So, let's see. That sentence, the sentencing, stemmed from Cohen pleading guilty to campaign finance violations related to payments to women alleging affairs with, Mr. Trump. Cohen will serve his term concurrently with the 2-month, sentenced imposed for lying to Congress over a proposed Trump Tower Moscow project. I'm not actually familiar with that. And a charge brought by special counsel Robert Mueller. The court is fining him $50,000 for each of the separate cases. So basically, Cohen claimed that he was like basically blindly loyal to Trump. And I thought that this was just like, I don't know, it's just kind of like you gotta be fucking kidding me. But he said that Trump led him to, quote, take a path of darkness instead of light. And that Cohen described being in a mental and physical incarceration, blaming his ties to the president as what brought him before the court Wednesday. He spoke of the president's recent attacks on him, in which he called him a liar, rat, and weak. He said the president was correct, but for a different reason. But anyway, so Joseph and I were talking about this, and I think that 100% this dude is guilty of this shit. Like, it happened, and, you know, and it was illegal. He misappropriated campaign finance stuff. Now, having said that, I don't think, and I'm pretty sure that you concur with me, that Trump didn't know exactly what the fuck was going on, or Trump didn't know at all what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, but the framing of this is, in my mind, can we take just a step back, just real briefly?
For sure.
Briefly here, because the framing of this matters a lot, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a really obvious thing to say, but generally, right? Mm-hmm. No matter, so someone who says, did Trump know about these things? Were these things directed by Trump? I would say doesn't understand the way that a large organization works generally, right? Mm-hmm. If you are, and we're gonna like wade into the fucking garbage right now, but just hang with me. If you are Harvey Weinstein, okay, and you have been just a fucking terrible dude for 30 years or whatever, right?
Yes.
And, you know, there was a chick at Starbucks and she fucking, you know, you rubbed your dick on her. And then there was like a chick at, you know, there's an actress and, you know.
He's never turned down an opportunity for some hot dogging.
That's right. So if this is what you do, right? You're the CEO and you're powerful and you do these fucking things, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden this like Starbucks person comes out of the woodwork, and is like accuses you of some shit 5 years later or whatever, even though you definitely did it, right? Mm-hmm. This does not get brought to your desk and like your lieutenant saying, okay, let's play this through. It's not the fucking way it works, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's hard for people to kind of wrap their minds around this. Like if you haven't been in a leadership position where you're managing, I mean, dude, like Harvey Weinstein, Donald Trump,
in the scheme of these individuals that are the heads of these ridiculously large organizations, in the scheme of what is important to them priority wise, that doesn't even fucking fall on the radar.
It's not even priority wise though. I'd go deeper than that. It's a fucking impossibility of an organization of that size, right?
Yeah.
Like you know, the way that people get to this level of influence, of power, of money, dude, there's no such fucking thing as like a Scout's honor honest buck. Give me a fucking break. Like you think Elon Musk hasn't pushed the fucking limits? Of course he has. He just got fined by the SEC, right? For doing some shit that he was just fucking obvious about. You think that hasn't happened behind closed doors? You think that like Jeff Bezos has grown this business to the point where he has without, you know, crossing some lines? Of course not. Yeah. Now, but what's crazy is these guys aren't necessarily making the call. And that's what people have to wrap their mind around. A person like Jeff Bezos, like Donald Trump, like Elon Musk, like, and I'm just saying, I'm not comparing these people. I'm comparing where they are in a
status wise
in a hierarchy stack, right? Yeah. In an org chart where they are. You know, probably I don't know, the second tier, like if you're the person running this organization, you probably know, you know, 30 people in the second tier, right? Like your heads of departments and your vice presidents of what the fuck ever. Presidents of what the fuck ever, but you're not going to know who like the data entry clerk is, right? You're not going to know who. And so my point is that like a guy like Michael Cohen working in, you know, working on an administration like Trump's. I mean, dude, you don't think Barack Obama had people coming out of the fucking woodwork saying like, you know, whatever. He gave me Coke one night. Like, I mean, fuck, of course. And these people get paid off, and they get paid hush money. They shut the fuck up, and they
fade into obscurity.
That's right. And the campaign continues, dude, and it rolls forward. And no, these guys are not aware of every single thing. If it's not an absolute existential threat, which, frankly, paying off some porn star that this guy fucked years ago, like, that to me, it sounds so absurd to like the average people like you and I.
Yeah.
But at that level, like, it's like, dude, these fucking people are playing with billions of dollars.
Yeah.
The fucking monkey business that happens at that level, like, come on, you know?
No,
I mean,
exactly.
This is the type shit where, like, you have a big party and somebody fucking ODs and, like, you know what I mean? They go, you take them back to their apartment and you, like, brush all the fucking fingerprints off, and it's just like, and then we read in the paper, you know, whatever, New York model ODs and is found in an apartment. I mean, it's like, it sounds absurd, but you know, reality.
Well, I mean, dude,
reality is fucking stranger than fiction, man, and that it definitely happens that way.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, shit, dude, look at any kind of plot in Hollywood. That shit was not created out of thin air. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
instance, Very Bad Things, the movie. Bunch of dudes go to fucking Las Vegas. They get a hooker.
No, that's not Very Bad Things, is it?
Yeah, and it is. But anyway, so
Wild Things is what I was thinking about.
you just fucking derailed me with some Lev Campbell, whatever, like 90s, whatever, softcore.
Yeah, but she's so smart, dude.
Yeah,
so smart.
But,
and Richards was in on it. She just couldn't pull it out in the end. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, but anyway, so a bunch of guys go to Las Vegas and have get this hooker to come in to bang them all. When this one dude's banging her, he like throws her up against the wall and happens to throw her on a towel, a towel hook, and basically kills her. Not basically, he kills her. And they no shit. I think they cut up her body and put it in suitcases and fucking bury her in the desert and basically swear an oath of secrecy among them all, because it was on a bachelor thing and this dude's getting married or whatever. And I mean, like, as far as I remember, I can't remember if they end up turning themselves in or what, but I mean, dude, if you don't think that shit fucking really happened at some point in history,
yeah,
then I want some of what you're smoking.
Yeah, so my point is that did he do these things? Fucking A, without a doubt. I absolutely think that these things were done. Did Donald Trump know about it? No, I don't think so. Yeah. I just, this is not the way it works.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Well, but dude, that's why they fucking call them fixers. Is it not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it just like, look, dude,
totally.
I'm gonna hire you. I don't give a fuck how you fix it. Just make the problem fucking go away.
But that implies knowing about the problem. What these guys say is they're like, I have a guy.
No, I'm saying when they get hired, that it's like if problems arise, you fucking deal with them.
I have a guy that handles the mud, right? And so any mud he handles.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I don't know what the mud is. I have no idea. But I know there will be mud, and this guy's going to handle it.
There will be mud. That made me think of There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
I hope there's a movie that
I wipe your mud shake.
Oh shit, man. But anyway, so
your mud quake. I don't know. Still working on it.
So basically, long story short, Cohen got caught in the act, and is going to be serving 36 months in federal penitentiary.
But there's some deep. This guy looks like such a weenie too. But granted, I've never been since 36 months. I mean, I'd probably look like a weenie too. But I just. This is a really, really, it's fascinating to me because there's some deep state shit that is like happening at fucking scale on this. And it is intriguing to say the least. But yeah, I mean, because the way that this came out was like the Mueller investigation of Trump, correct? Like that's how this whole thing started. And so I don't know. I mean, like or dislike Donald Trump, like I don't, whatever, right? Like the guy is volatile for sure, right? Yeah. But it's pretty fucking interesting what's been created and what's happening here. And I think that the precedent that is being set where and I don't remember if it was like this through the Obama administration, but like this constant barrage of criminal investigations. Yeah. I don't think it was. I don't. Do you recall? I don't remember because I remember.
So no shit.
Shit like that, but
the biggest thing that I remember from Obama's administration was just it seemed like he was always showing up on like entertainment stuff, like late night shows and like
yeah.
Like he was more of a celebrity than a president kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or that was my take on it kind of thing. But I mean, I don't remember there being, I think the biggest thing with Obama was basically what, like his where he was born. Like everybody wanting his fucking like the birth certificate,
the birthers and whatever, right? And so maybe it's just I just don't remember it, but like, I mean, the charge against Trump is that he was colluding with the fucking Russians to get elected, and that just seems unlikely,
which is not a criminal act. Collusion is not a criminal act.
Sure.
It's more frowned upon than
yeah. I think you are correct. But anybody that if somebody's colluding with a foreign government to become the most powerful person in the world, like 100%. So we're splitting hairs a little bit on that. However, like fuck, just let it go. Yeah. Like what the fuck?
Well, I mean, it's been going on for 2 years at this point, and little to no evidence.
Right, and so we'll see, we'll see. But I just hope that this hasn't this precedent. I don't know, man. Maybe this precedent will continue on, and this is just like the way of the future moving forward. Because man, it's a great distraction. It's a great distraction. And if I'm one of these really powerful people who have now decided to go and play the political game. Distractions on no matter which side of the aisle you're on are a good thing.
Yeah,
absolutely a good thing. So anyway, all right, let's cruise into this.
Let's hit the home stretch, man.
What's this spooky news you got here?
It's actually spoopy.
Wow, spoopy.
No, honestly. I started reading this article and I was like, oh, this is really weird. And then it kind of started freaking me out a little bit because it really is kind of bizarre. But anyway, so I pulled it from NBC News and it was titled, Son, Grandsons Find Human Bones in New York Basement ID'd as Father Missing for Decades.
Dude, that house. Oh my God.
That house looks fucking creepy as shit.
Yeah. So they found
okay. So check this shit out.
Did they find any blood? Any monkey blood?
They found some human bones, monkey blood.
That's monkey blood.
But and by the way, that was a reference to Jon Voight's fantastic performance in the movie Anaconda. But anyway, so they sorry. Repeat. George Carroll is the guy whose remains were found in the basement of his former home, of which his son and his son's family currently live in. Okay. So,
why the fuck is this article so short?
Yeah, no, I know, right? It's literally like 5 paragraphs or something.
Okay, all right.
But anyway,
hit me with that bone sauce.
Yeah, right. So Michael Carroll, who was the son, and Michael Carroll's sons were basically checking into rumors that they had heard over the course, I'm sure it was obviously more his Michael Carroll than his sons, but that he had heard that his dad's remains were basically buried in the basement of the home, and the mother, Dorothy Carroll, who died in 1998.
Who did he hear this from?
Well, and that's the thing, dude. Because it's like, I mean, this is a very, very, this just scratches the surface of it. Just, I don't even know what, of some really creepy shit.
Like she's like, eat your potatoes, or you're gonna be buried in the fucking basement with your dad.
So yeah, right. So there had long been rumors in the family that George Carroll might be buried in the basement, the police said, citing Carroll family members. Okay, so George Carroll was a Korean War veteran who had been missing since 1961. Okay, so nobody had seen this fucker since 1961. No missing persons report was ever filed for this guy. Okay? And when they pulled the remains out, they said that, let's see, the remains, so autopsy results released this week confirmed the remains were of George Carroll and found that his skull had been fractured by blunt force trauma, which may have occurred posthumously, authorities said. So I just don't know. I'm gonna say that they might want to take a look at the investigation a little, one more time. I believe that Dorothy fucking beat her husband over the head and buried his ass in the basement.
It sounds legit.
But that's not the conclusion they came to, because apparently it could have occurred posthumously. Plus, I mean, it's like, dude, Dorothy's been dead for 20 years, so. But yeah, I was just like, dude, that's just some creepy shit that, like, no kidding, you can make people disappear, especially if they're kind of recluses, I guess. Because, I mean, my thing is this just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. A man disappears.
Right.
And nobody, no family, not even extended family, like, it is like, hey, where's George, Dorothy?
I mean, dude, well, here's the thing. Right? It's 1951, right?
Yeah. 61.
And she says, well, you know, George, he got fucked up one night and he left and whatever. People aren't talking every fucking day. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
that's a good point.
You're not as connected as you are now. You know, it's not like there's like social media posts that are like stop or whatever, you know? I mean, you know, this is like a time where, you know, I would think shape-shifting and changing identities and people running away and like whatever the fuck, like this is probably pretty common. War vet, he probably had some shit up with him and they, you know, she probably was just like, well, you know, George, that crazy bastard.
Well, and because it does say his death is now being investigated as a homicide, which rightfully so. But I mean, what are you gonna fucking do at this point?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But yeah. So the other thing that I thought was kind of interesting was they've got a line in here: George Carroll's wife never gave her 4 children a straight answer about what happened to their father. So I want to know what the fuck answer she was giving him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, you know, I mean, was it one of these situations of like, oh, your dad used to drink all the time, and then, he had too many, and whatever, he left, and now we
all I
don't know where he
remember
is.
was him pounding his head into this hammer over and over and over again. That's all I recall. I don't know where he went. And then I remember he had dug a big hole in the basement, and then he pounded his head in the hammer, and then he got down in there, and then I never saw him again. Dude, it's what's fucking so creepy is that, let's say she did this, right?
Yeah.
Beats this guy's ass with a hammer, throws him in a hole, covers the hole up. There was like 10 minutes after that happened, an hour after that happened, 2 days after that happened, a week after that happened, and this fucking guy is dead in the basement. It's business as usual upstairs, and this lady's just like going to sleep in that house. Nah.
Dude, she lived another fucking 37 years.
Nope. It's creepy, man. It's creepy.
Absolutely, creepy. Yeah. But
anyway. What's not creepy is this beautiful hour and a half that we spent together. That was amazing. And I've hit my head on my microphone twice. That's what that sound was.
I thought you were testing the quantum mechanics theory of potentially being able to pass your head through the mic.
Yeah.
If you could just align the spaces right.
God damn, man! I just have been beating my head up with my microphone. Taking a picture out of Mrs. George. Whatever the
George
fuck,
Carroll, old Dorothy Carroll's
old Carroll's playbook, right? Beat yourself in the head. Do it now. But this has been episode 28, right?
Oh yeah.
So we are coming into the home stretch. We're gonna have two more in the year.
I believe so.
And it's gonna be three more, because we got the 30th too. So it's gonna be a hell.
Yeah, we need to connect and bang out some details for that. So.
Oh, we're still live, my dude. We are still live. So this has been episode 28 of Tether Radio. As always, we love to hear from you guys. So shoot us a note. Things you like, things you didn't like, anything in between, we will take it all. tetherradio@gmail.com. That's TETHERRADIO@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter @tether_radio. And we are, of course, on Instagram @tether_radio. Same little handle that we got over there on Twitter. And we are on the Facebook, Tether Radio, all one word. So this has been fucking just such a magical evening, magical afternoon, whenever you're listening, that we've been with you guys. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. Really excited to continue this on into 2019, tweak the programming a little bit, and continue to deliver this saucy dish that hopefully you're becoming accustomed to. So this has been Tether Radio. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Daniel.
And we are reminding you to stay tethered, friends, and we will see you next week.